Hello everyone, glad to have you here. Welcome back to another project video. This is Ahmed from jsstack developers. In this one video, you will learn React.js best advanced practices, store complex logics you will build. This entire project in React.js. To manage the whole state of our web application, we'll use Redux Toolkit to simplify the complex logics of our store. As usual, we will use Tailwind Css to design this web application. And finally, we will deploy this project on the Vercel. Before deep dive into the code, let's take a quick demo. And this is our project, which is I am talking about to you. Nextdoor is a modern best ever commerce web application you can currently find on the internet. By building this unique UI UX design, I believe and I promise you can become a modern UI UX developer, or you can develop anything which you can imagine. Okay, so let's see how it's work. First we have this animated hero section which is indicating our store, and sticky nav at the top. Popular sales with these beautiful hover effects, highlights, top rated sales, some featured products, and finally top rated stories. You can read stories, explore products. As I promised, this is fully functional. Let's add to cart some products. Okay, also this is fully functional. Go back to cart and boom, this is our cart UI. Increase quantities, decrease quantities, and remove your products, clear your cart completely. This is completely fully functional commerce web application. You might be wonder why we are not implementing checkout page. I hit buy now, this will immediately take me to the cart checkout. Guys, this button is still static in that video. Okay, I will implement this checkout functionalities in the upcoming video. Even we are storing this global state somewhere called local storage. I go to application, I can see my local storage having my products as well. I can increase quantities, I can just add more products. Okay, so delete products from there, clear cart. This is completely empty. This is fully responsive for every device. It's a cross browser platform web application. Guys, look, that's amazing. Okay, so let's deep dive into the code. Let's change our imagination into complete development. I just opened VSCode with a blank folder, Nike Store Commerce. Let's move to terminal, choose your command prompt, and set up React.js environment. But must we have VSCode and NodeJS in our system. If you don't have, don't worry, follow me step by step. Go to code.visualstudio.com and download stable version of VSCode as per your system requirements. Also, go to nodejs.org and download current version of Node.js. After both downloading, install in your system. After both installation, now let's check some configuration. Go there and type cmd. Open your command prompt and let's see what both have installed. Type npm-v node-v dash configuration our Node.js, node our engine, npm our package manager which helps to install package dependencies, and also check code-v and dash configuration of VS Code we have finally installed in our system. Now let's move to vjs.dev. Vue.js is the next generation front-end tool which have rich features, optimized builds, instant server start, fast performance. It will help to initialize CRA create React app in our project instantly. Now get started, and that's our guide. Okay, and if you come there, we have a command npm create white at latest. You can go through it npm create void at latest our project name dash template react. But as we are starting from scratch, let's copy this command, go back to VSCode, Ctrl V. What's your project name? As we have already selected Nike Store Commerce, so / enter. Select framework, which is React, JavaScript. Now npm install. And you can see instantly Redux.js has installed. That's the power of Vue.js. npm run dev. Let's open in the browser. And that's it. That's our Vue and React.js. Now let's move to tailwindcss.com. It's utility-first CSS framework with packed classes. You can rapidly build modern website with great design. Good framework, guys. Choose your environment. So in our case, we have Vue.js. Let's follow some step. We already created our project using React. In second step, we have to install Tailwind CSS and also generate two files, tailwindconfig.js, postconfig.js. Copy these commands, go back terminal, Ctrl C, terminate your batch, Ctrl V, enter. It will install after a moment. Now again hit enter, it will generate two files. Okay, that's our configuration files, tailwindconfig.js and postconfig.js. Move back to Google. Here we have step 3, configure your template path. Copy the snippets, move back to VSCode, in tailwindconfig.js, paste there. Also, we are setting up our screens for our project. So there we have, on last screen, I want maximum width 991 pixel. It should be in single quotes. And also there we have extra large screen for 1200 pixels. Okay, great. Similarly, for medium screen, we have 767 pixels, 550, which is our small screen. Extra small screens, we have 357 for that project. Hit save, move back to Google, and let's follow another step. Add Tailwind directories to your CSS. Copy the snippets, go back to VS Code. In the C source folder, we have index.css. Ctrl A, Ctrl V. Okay, I replaced the code which I have pre-built and I prepared for you. It will help you a lot to build that project. We have gradient themes, gradient buttons, and much more. Okay, and right here at the top we have Tailwind directories. Even we have Google Fonts. Okay, otherwise I will provide you link in description of my GitHub repo. You can freefile download, copy and paste. Now go to app.jsx, Ctrl A, RAFCE, rect, fat arrow functional, that snippets powered by an extension you must have to install, which is ES7 React Redux React Native Snippets. This extension provides us some pre-built snippets of code which helps us to increase our development speed. Close that one, move back to app.jsx. I am displaying a message, welcome to Nike Store project. Okay, let's change font bold. Okay, you can see I have a lot of suggestions. Tailwind CSS, you have to install one more extension. Let's search Tailwind CSS Intelligence. It will enhance your development experience with different suggestions of every class. Okay, now close that one, hit save, go back terminal, clear screen, npm run dev. As soon as I go to localhost, I can see my message which is welcome to Nike Store Commerce. Okay, let's change the font of that color to white. Text should be white. Hit save, go back, and we can see Tailwind CSS has applied. Now let's move to our actual build. In VS Code, go back here. Let's add a folder which is components. Add one more folder in the source directory which is data. In data, we have a file data.js. In components, we have file hero.js. And most of people have questioned why you always write hero.js. If I go back right here, you can see we have a great banner. It is acting like as a hero component. Therefore, I set the name hero. You can set different name as you want. Okay. Now let's move back here or AFCE. Okay. In components, add one more file index.js. Export default as hero from /hero.jsx. This time go through with hero.jsx. We will add component when we need. Now go to app.jsx. Just close down. Okay. Here in main, just add hero component. Mostly people have questioned why we are using index.js mostly in my videos. Here we are destructuring each component. In future, when we have most component, I will destructure there, and I can use in there like comma blah 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 comma, that's it. So the purpose of that, we are avoiding from always import. Okay, so that's it. That's the answer of your question if you are watching my video, my friend. Okay, cool. Now close out those files. I put code and browser side by side to show you live changes. But as usual, let's understand structure of this component. Go back and see what we have there. We have a wrapper div. Inside this div, we have a container div in which we have text content, and this is our image content. Okay, but there we have two more divs in which these video links and these social links, and also we have a nice gradient background behind that. Add a div which is nice background gradient color. Just below that we have a div which is our container. Inside this container we have a div text content and image content. In text content we have two h1s and our button. Okay, just below that we have a div which is video links and social links. Okay, great. And in this div add an image tag. This image tag have a source. Add an alternative which is hero image / image. Add a class name. It should be class name. Okay, so that's structure of this component. As usual, we are populating REST data in our whole web application. So let's move to data.js. Add some snippet of codes. Okay, I have already prepared code for you. I will provide you a link in description. Just download and use it in your project. And there we have our hero component REST data by the name which is hero API. And also I am providing you these assets like all those images, videos and other icons by a Google Drive link. You can download it and use it into your projects as well. Okay, cool. And I also provide you GitHub link of my repo in description below. Okay, you can free fill download whole bunch of code if you have problem during video. Okay, great. So let's move to app.jsx and import this hero API from data.js. It should be hero API. Okay, and let's pass this into hero.jsx. Mostly people have questioned why you are always import this one as global into app.jsx. Even we can import into hero.jsx. So I have answer. I am importing just one line here as globally into app.jsx. Its work act like as a context provider. You can use context API as well for that once, also for these components. But So we are working on a static web page. It's a static website. Just we have some functionalities, so we can pass very simply this data as props. So let's destructure this hero API into hero component.jsx. Okay, and if I console log, move back to browser, F12, and you can see there we have our objects, title, subtitle, social link, and videos, and much more. Okay, now let's destructure this data here at the top: title, subtitle, okay, button text, and image, social links, videos. These videos and social links are array of objects, and I hit save. You can see I have an error in console, so that's due to this console log, because it says that you destructured data as well, and I cannot console this variable. Okay, great. Now if I hit refresh, error has removed. I can see my data right there. Add image source first. Let's throw out this error. Okay, I can see image right now. Great. And to this h1 add a title, to this h1 add subtitle. Okay, to this button add btn text. It should be btn text. Okay, not bun test. If I go to data.js, there we have btn text. Okay, great. So I just comment down this time these to this, because we will work later. Let's save. There we have bunch of data. Now let's style this component. In this div, control D, okay, select all, add class name. In this wrapper div, position relative, and height auto, width will be auto, flex, and flex column. Okay, cool. Now let's add nice gradient background in this div. Background theme, add one more class which is clip path, and these are both classes are customized. Okay, if I go to index.css, there we have clip path, and there we have background theme. This clip path is a polygon. You can set coordinates as you want. Okay, great. So go to hero.jsx, add some height which is 85 vh. The purpose of these brackets to add dynamic height. Okay, great. On large screen, height 75 vh. On medium screen, height 65 vh. On small screen, height will be 55 vh, and width auto, position absolute, top 0, left 0, right 0, opacity 100, z index will be 10. I hit save. I can see nice background right there. Okay, and go to this div, add position relative, opacity 100, z index like 20. There we have the index 10. Now we can add 20. I hit save. Oh, just like we have nice content. Okay, great. Add a grid, item center, justify item will be centered. Okay, and also add one more class which is Nike container. And if I go to index.css, there we have class Nike container. Okay, great. So okay, and go to this class, add a one more grid. I want these tags also in center, justify items should be center. Okay, great. Margin top will be 28. On medium screen, margin top 24. Hit save. Okay, just below that we have h1, control D, and select all h1s. Text 6 pixel. On large screen, text 5 pixel. On medium screen, text will be 4 pixels. On small screen, text will be 3 pixels, and on extra small screen text will be 2 pixels, font extra bold, and this is round about approximately font weight 800. Okay, filter drop shadow small, text slate 200, it should be slate, hit save, and now we have nice text. Okay, cool. So in this button type should be button, add class name which is button theme, and if I go back in index.css, there we have class which is button theme, just right there. Okay, background slate 200, hit save, we can see this nice button. Add shadow which is slate, okay, it should be shadow slate 200. We have already shadow medium in this button theme which we using in all buttons. Okay, cool, hit save. Oh, great. Rounded pixels my5, hit save. Now we can see this nice button. Now let's style this image. Add a width auto, height 45 VH. Okay, on last screen height will be 35 VH. On medium screen height will be 31 VH. On small screen height will be 21 VH, and on extra small screen height 19 VH. Hit save. Okay, add a class transition theme, and I think it's transitions theme, it's a customized class. If I go to index.css, we have class there. Okay, transitions, it's transitions theme. Hit save, and let's add a class which is rotate and dynamic which is 25 degree minus 25 degree. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, and also add one more thing which is on hover I want to rotate 0. Cursor will be pointer, object fit fill, and boom, we have nice transitions. Oh my god, so cool, just like that. Now let's uncomment these divs. In first div we are mapping videos, so videos dot map, here we have val and index of this array. Okay, if you take a look on this component, we have a bunch of code. Okay, so I think we should be divide these two into components, and let's move to components. Add a folder utils. In this utils folder add a one more file which is clips.jsx or rafce. Okay, add one more file which is social links.jsx or rafce. Okay, and here we have clips from utils folder. Add a key which is index of that array, and there we have image source which is our cover image of that videos, because I want when someone is hovers this video will play, so we need a cover image and also a clip. Okay, val dot clip, and these are two objects. If I go to data.js, in videos array we have two objects, image source and the other one is clip. Okay, now the structure there in clips.jsx which is clip and image source. Now you can see here we have very clean code. Go to clips, add a div. Inside this div we have image source, to this image source, add an alt, which is image/clips, and don't forget to add this alternative, otherwise React will give you an error. Okay, cool. So there we have a video tag. In this video tag we have a source tag, its self-closing tag, type will be video/mp4, and add a source which is clip and hit save. Okay, let's style this component. Add a class name. First of all, position relative, height 28, width 32, hit save. Okay, to this image add class name, insert 0, flex, height full, width full, object cover, and position of fluid, top 0, left 0, right 0, hit save. Okay, rounded axles. Inside this parent div we have also rounded axles, hit save. I think we should be add an overflow hidden. Okay, great, you can see overflow is hidden. To this image tag, opacity 100, z index 10. Okay, and go there. In this video tag, autoplay, true, loop, true, muted, true, place inline, true, add class name which will be position of fluid, top 0, left 0, right 0, flex, height full, width full, and object fit will be cover, hit save. Okay, opacity 0 initially, z index 0. Now what I want when someone is hovered at on this cover image, then video will show and play. Okay, so how we can do that? Let's add a condition in this div which is group. It's provided by Tailwind Css. Okay, you can see we have a lot of suggestions, but we are using version which is latest, so there we have group. Okay, and on group hover, what I want, opacity 100. On group hover, what I want, opacity z index should be 20. There we have 10, there we have 20, and I think it's hover. Hit save, go back. Okay, let's first make it cursor, pointer, transition, all, duration 300. Also in this image tag we have transition, opacity, duration 500. Hit save, go back. Let's check what videos will play. Okay, so there we have an issue, videos are not founding. Maybe console should have an error. Okay, console is cleared. Okay, let's move to hero.jsx, and there we have problem. We should be add an exceptional mark, which is question mark. Okay, this is exception. So what's problem could be there? I think there we have video size issue. Okay, so therefore we are adding an exception mark. By this that it will automatically tackle this problem. Hit save, refresh. When I hover over, videos are playing. Okay, you can see videos are playing. Great. So go to clips. In this video we should be add rounded axles. Hit save. Now again hit refresh. It is playing, and opacity, sorry, z index will be 50. Okay, cool. Let's change size of these clips according to screen sizes. On large screen, width will be 28. On medium screen, width will be 24, and on small screen, width will be 16. Okay, similarly on large screen, height will be 24, On medium screen, height will be 20. On small screen, height will be 14. Hit save. Can see we have a nice clips. Okay, go back into hero.jsx. Let's add a grid. Grid, item center, gap 5. Okay, hit save. Great. But on medium screen, gap will be 3. Position absolute. Top will be 33 VH. On large screen, top will be 27 VH. Okay, add some left position for normal screen. Left will be 11%. Okay, and on Excel screen I want left 0. Hit save. Width auto. Okay, width should be auto. Height auto. Oh my god, we have nice clips. Okay, cool. If I go back, similarly, nice, great. Now let's add this icon there. Move to heroicons.com. It should be hero icons. Okay. Oh wow, it's updated. I can't believe it's updated, guys. Because when I was working, the version is that. Okay, but now we have version 2, which is so cool. They are divided, outline, solid, mini. That's cool. Okay, great. So go to documentation. Come there. There we have a script which is npm install at heroicon/react. Copy this. Go back into console, Ctrl+C, terminate your badge, and hit enter. Package has installed cls npm run dev. There we have play icon, and variant is solid. This one or this one. Okay, as you want. So go there, at top in clips, just right here, import play icon from at heroicon/react 24 solid. Okay, hit save. Now just come there, add a div. There we have play icon. Okay, cool. Add class name which is icon style. So this is customized class. If you go to in index.css, here we have class which is icon style. Okay, so these classes are repeatable, therefore I write separately in this index.css. Okay, great. And hit save. Go back right there, but we cannot see icon. Here add a class name, background white, blur effect theme. This blur effect theme is also customized class in index.css. There we have blur effect theme. It's a nice blur effect. Okay, great. Hit save. And I think we have no there, but don't worry. Let's add position and opacity. Position absolute, top 0, left 0, right 0. Okay, and add opacity 100. The index will be dynamically 100. Hit save. Now I can see nice background. Okay, if I change the text color, text slate 900, I can see this nice icon. Okay, great. So let's add width to this div, which is 8, height 8, on medium screen width 5, on medium screen height 5. Okay, flex, item center, justify content center, rounded full. It should be full. Okay, cool. And to this icon style, on medium screen I want width 3, on medium screen height will be 3. Great. Now I want this in center. So what we can do, on normal screen top is 11, left also 11, but on last screen top will be 8, on last screen left will be 9. Okay, great. And on small screen top 4, on small screen left 5. Hit save. Now I can see just right in center. Guys, we have nice beautiful icons. Now let's move to hero.jsx, and in that div we are mapping social links. Social links, add exception mark dot map val and index. Okay, so I think we are missing something. Yeah, okay, so there we have social link. Great. Add a key which is index, and if I move to data.js, in social links we have object which is icon. Okay, now map this icon val.icon. Destructure this icon in social link.jsx and add an image tag source which is like icon. Add an alternative icon slash social. Add class name. So there we have width 8, height 8. Hit save. Flex, item center and cursor pointer. But on medium screen width 6, on medium screen height also 6, on small screen width 5, on small screen height also 5, transition all, duration 200. I want when someone hover transform scale 110. Hit save. Go back. I can see beautiful transform. Okay, so go to hero.jsx. Here grid item center and add a position absolute. Top will be 33 vh. Okay, on last screen top similarly which is 27 vh. Okay, right 0. Hit save and let's add a gap which is 3. Now I can see beautiful icons just right there. So if I go to large screen, oh my god, that's beautiful. We are just developed our hero section of this web application. Okay, cool. Let's move back and let's follow this popular sales. Now let's move to components. Add a file which is sales.jsx. You can give name like menu products as you want. Okay, but I am set the name sales. Okay, go to index.js. Here we have to export default as sales from /sales.jsx. Go to app.jsx. Now just render this component sales. Okay, if I hit save, go back, I can see sales component right there. Okay, close all those files which we don't need. Just open sales.jsx. Now let's understand structure of this component. Go back. Here we have a container. Okay, in this container we have this title and this single item. Okay, so this title item also two components which we are looping in both components like top rated sales, popular sales and others. Okay, Great. So let's move to there. In the utils, add two more files like title.jsx or AFCE. In utils, also add one more file, item.jsx or product.jsx. Okay, it's up to you what you give the name as you want. Now here we have a div. In this div we are rendering title, and also in the divs this item. We will loop through this item and this title. Okay, hit save, go back, title and item. But I want to render two components in one file. Okay, so if I take to you on data.js, in popular sales we have two objects, title and items. Item is an array of objects in which we have single item. Okay, this one. So if I moved to top rated sales, here we have same objects, title and item. Here items also has single object, which is keys are same. Keys are same, so we can map this data into one file and can render two different components. It could be difficult to map two components in one file, but believe me, it's very easy. We are working on real-time React.js. Okay, go to app.jsx, just render this component two times. So there we have item, title and title. So how we can do that? Let's import first popular sales, top rated sales. Okay, pass this into first popular sales, there top rated sales. I want to destructure objects of this popular sale, top rated sales in this component right there. But I cannot do that because we have two different endpoints. So first we have to make one endpoint, and then we can destructure our objects right here. So let's do that. Here add a variable endpoint. You can say variable or can say name, just like input field. Okay, pass this endpoint to this variable. Okay, similarly in top rated sales, there we have this endpoint. Okay, go to sales.jsx. Here I'm destructing this endpoint variable, console log this endpoint. If I move back to console, let me refresh now. This time here we have popular sales and top rated sales. How it's cool that we are working on dynamic React.js. Okay, great. Now we can destructure title and items. If I add title here and map these items here, I can see my all data right now with two different components. Console log, just comment this one and refresh. Okay, so go to title.jsx, destructure this title there and add a div. In each one we have this title. Hit save. If I go back, I can see popular sales, top rated sales. Guys, that's awesome. Okay, great. Go to sales.jsx. Here we are mapping our items. So what I am gonna do, items, add an exceptional mark. Don't forget to add this one. Dot map. Here we have single item and index of this array of objects. Okay, and let's loop through this items component. It could be item, yes, and pass this item just right now. Or I am showing you a different things here again, which is what I can do. I can separate this item into this component dot 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 an item. Okay, and here key of this component is index of every single item. I think you are confusing what I do there. So what is meant by this spread operators? So I make it a copy of single item and loop through in this item.jsx. Okay, if I go to hero.jsx, in this social links, what we did, okay, in this here what we did, we just destructured this hero API. So similarly, I am making a copy first, then I am passing in this item.jsx. Okay, so go to item.jsx. Here, if I destructure all these objects, if I console log just ID, I can see ID of single items in the console. Go there and boom, we have every single item IDs. Now let's move back to code. Add a wrapper div. In this wrapper div, we have two more divs, text content and image content. Okay, if I go there and let's see what structure we have. Text content and image content. Okay, this structure is too little bit tricky, so let's move down right there into operator sales. Okay, like that. This is very easy. Okay, great. In text content we have h1, which is title, and just below that we have text. Okay, just after we have two divs. In first divs again we have two divs with h1s. Okay, this is our price and this is rating. Okay, but let's import a star icon there, which is rating icon. Right here at top, import this star icon from hero icon react and variant solid. Okay, go there, add class name, which is icon style, and text slate 900. Okay, hit save, and in this div add two buttons. Type of this button is button. Okay, add class name. In this first button add an icon which is shopping bag icon, but first let's import their shopping bag icon. Okay, go there, add shopping bag icon. So add class name also in this button, icon style, and text slate 900. Okay, we can see little bit buttons. Okay, and there we have a button, type button, add class name, and button simple. Okay, and in this div we have image as source, which is image, add an alternative which is image slash item image. Okay, add class name. Great. So that structure of our this component. If I go there, here we have almost all items, and you can see we have top rated sales and popular sales. Okay, first let's move to title.jsx and style title component. In this div add a class name which is grid item center. Okay, to this h1 add a class name text 5 pixels, on last screen text 4 pixels, on medium screen text will be 3 pixels, font bold, and text slate 900, filter drop shadow large, and it should be filter. Okay, it's saved. Now I can see titles right there. Okay, and let's move back to item.jsx in first div, but first Control D, select all these divs. Okay, add class name once. In this h1, similarly select Control D and class name. To this p tag also add a class name. Okay, now in this div, add position, relative, background, gradient to bottom, and let's add this color and shadow, but first make it into backticks with curly braces because we are fetching real-time dynamic values. If I go data.js, there we have color and shadow. Okay, so now it's in backticks. We can fetch this color and shadows from this data.js. Okay, in $, add curly braces, add color, again shadow right there. Boom, we have nice color and shadow, which is too much gradient. Okay, great. So go there and add a grid, item center, justify item center, hit save, all items in center. Okay, but I want this text content should be in center, so copy and just paste, hit save, boom. Okay, in this h1, text slate 200. Okay, and also paste into this p tag text slate 200. Wait, text will be excels. On last screen, text large. On medium screen, text base, font medium. Filter drop shadow. Okay, just copy, and in this text, filter drop shadow, text base on normal screen, on medium screen, text small, and font, it should be normal. Okay, hit save, boom, great. Now select all this, Control D, flex, item center, but in this first div, which is our rating and price div, okay, justify between width 28. Now in this price div, background white /80, it's approximately opacity 0.5 and it's white color. Hit save, I can see nice background. Okay, padding x1 rounded, and to this h1, text black, text small, it should be small. Okay, and let's add $, hit save, boom, we have nice look of this price tag. Okay, to this star icon div, add a gap 1 and remove this text color. By default it's white, I want white color, width 5, height 5, on medium screen width 4, and on medium screen height 4. Okay, hit save, great. Now to this h1, text small and font normal, and it's on medium screen text small. Hit save. Okay, and color should be slate 100. Great. So come to this div and add a gap which is 3, and let's add some margin there and white too. Great. And I think it should be medium. If I go back, yeah, font is medium. I just remember that font is medium of this price tag. Okay, now it's look just like that. Oh my god, that's beauty. Okay, cool. Now come there, here in this button, background white, opacity 90, add this class blur effect theme. If I go to index.css, there we have this class which is blur effect theme. Okay, and move back, add one more class, button theme. If you remember that in index.css we have this class just there which is button theme. Okay, hit save. Let's see what changes. Boom, we have this nice button. And remove some padding to 0.5. Great. Add some shadow, and shadow slate 200. Okay, copy all these classes and to this button paste. Let's add text small, text black, and there we have padding from left and right 2, top and bottom 1. Hit save. Boom, we have nice buttons. I think we should be add this class blur effect theme into price tag right here and hit save. We have nice shadow behind this price tag, and here add one more class, font medium. We have nice look. Now let's style this image. Go there, add a class, height 36, width 64, transitions theme. Okay, and when someone hover, rotate 12 like that, but in opposite direction, so white minus. Look, we have nice rotation there. Okay, great. And go to this wrapper div, rounded axles, and py4, px5. Hit save. Transition all, duration 700. It should be 700. Is in out. Hit save. Width full. Okay, great. Now, but what I want, when someone hovers, also there, scale 105. Boom, we have nice, guys. Oh, it's cool that. Okay, let's add grid in this components. Okay, so go to sales.jsx. In this div, add class name, grid, item center, justify item center. Okay, and grid columns 4 on normal screen. On Excel screen, which is 1200 pixel maximum, grid columns 3, and on medium screen, grid columns 2. Okay, on small screen, grid columns 1. Add a gap 7, gap 5, which is on large screen, margin top 7. Hit save, and boom, we have nice grid. Okay, on medium screen we have 2. On Excel screen we have 3 columns, but on normal screen we have 4 columns. Okay, great. So let's add container in this wrapper div, Nike container. Okay, great. It's looking just like us, but let's add gap between them. Okay, so we should have gap between them, both components. Go to app.jsx. In main, add class name flex, flex column, gap 16, position relative. Hit save. Now there we have gap between both components. Okay, so what purpose of this class is? Guys, I am not bound to add margin from top to bottom in every single component. I wrapped out every single component into this main, and in this main we have flexbox. Okay, in future when we have just like this component, okay, automatically gap 16 will be added to every single component. Okay, so that's simple. Top rated sales has completed, but this popular sales not completed. I want to change styling just like that. Okay, so what we can do to make changes style in this code, because this code has already done for this top rated sale. Let's think and tell me in comment what you think at that time. Your time is up. Stop thinking, leave everything. Let's move back to code. And in app.jsx, in this endpoint where we have popular sales, add a variable if exists. You can give different name if popular sale exists or something. By default, this is true. Okay, great. You can say it's a conditional statement. Okay, I want to make changes in this component, so I just add a variable if exists. Go to sales.jsx, destructure this right here, and let's make first changes in this grid, because let's go to normal screen. Here we have 4 columns. I want 3 columns just like that. Okay, so go there. What we are doing here, first wrap out into curly braces with backticks. Let's make it dynamic. Now these styles are dynamic. Okay, great. Now let's make it conditional. If popular sale exists, I want to show this styling, otherwise I want to show this styling. Okay, so copy this whole code or cut from there, paste just right now, Ctrl S. I go back to browser. Here we have no styling for this popular sales, but I go there. Here we have styling for this top rated sales. Now let's move back to code and apply styles for popular sales. On normal screen, I want grid columns 3. On Excel screen, grid columns 2. On small screen, grid columns 1. Hit save, go back, and there we go. We have dynamic styles also for popular sales. I go to small screens. I can see beautiful these grids. Guys, how it's cool as. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment below if you have any question right now. Okay, let's change style of this popular sales items. Go back to VSCode and send this conditional statement if exists into item.jsx, and be sure this variable is same which you are sending from app.jsx. Okay, go to item.jsx and destructure this item there. Destructure this conditional statement right here at top, and let's make changing, but first put code and browser side by side. Okay, right here at this position, add this condition if popular sales are exist, justify item start, otherwise top rated sales will be in center. Okay, and remove this which we have already by default. Save this, and boom, popular sales item are pushed to start, and this is already in center. How is cool that? Okay, and let's copy this whole condition and go to this div, because I want these items also in start. Let's make it dynamic. Add curly braces, backticks, remove these grids. Instead of this, add this, but add a $sign right there. Save, and boom, we have this text content in start. Okay, let's move back to this div. Apply a condition if popular sales are exist, position absolute, top 5, right 1, otherwise justify content center. Hit save, and boom, we have items like that. Okay, it's also in center. Let's change style of this image. Okay, first make it dynamic, add backticks, remove these double quotes, apply a condition if popular sales are exist. I want height auto with 64, on large screen with 56, on medium screen with 48, and rotate 35 degree, but for top rated sale I want height 36 and width 64. Okay, transition theme and hover state are same. Hit save, go back, and let's see what we have. Oh my god, but I see that here we are missing this ID. And go there, add curly braces, backticks. Okay, add a dollar sign, curly braces, pass this ID right there, hit save. In some case, if we have error, we can easily find exact item by this ID. Okay, and there we go, we have completed popular sales, top rated sales within one single file. That's power of React. Okay, as I described you before. So let's move back to there and we will work on this highlight component. Just below that we have one more, featured components. Both components are very similar. Let's move to code. In components folder, add a file flex content.jsx or AFCE. Go to index.js, add this file flex content.jsx. Go to app.jsx. Here render this component flex content. Okay, great. And if I move back here, I can see flex content. I just opened flex content.jsx because we are working on it. Okay, now add a div which is wrapper div. Here we have a div text content and image content. If I move back, here we have structure, these ones. Okay, great. So in text content div, add an h1, also one more. Just below that we have p tag and anchor tag. In this anchor tag we have a button in which type button and add a class name. Okay, great. So in this div add an image. Okay, now let's move to data.js, and here we have both components, data, highlights and snaker, and objects of both components are same. If you take a look, okay, so we can map this data into one component and can render two different components very easily. Okay, you already have an idea because we have developed this component, so we can do very simple. Let's move back to app.jsx. Here first render highlight and snaker. Okay, in this flex content pass snaker. Within, you can say there we have endpoint similar. Okay, and pass snaker data. Okay, great. Now just make a copy, and after this popular sale we have one more component which is highlight. Hit save, move back, destructure this endpoint right there, endpoint. Okay, here we have title, subtitle, text, image, URL. If I move to data.js, okay, heading, title, text, button, URL and image. So in title, text, image, URL and button. Okay, now map this data In first h1 heading, in other h1 title, in p tag text, in this href add URL of every single content, and also there we have a button. Okay, to this image add source, which is image, alternative image slash flex content, or you can give different name. How we can give different name? Okay, let's do it into backticks. Okay, add heading in curly braces. Now it's with different name. Okay, great. Add class name, save. Let's move there, and just after this top rated sales we have this component, and if I go to top, here we have this component. Now let's style this component. Ctrl D, select all this, add class name. This class will be dynamic because we will pass some dynamic values. I am at starting point, add curly braces with backticks, flex, item center, justify between, hit save. Okay, on last clean, flex column, on last clean, justify content center. Okay, great. And add Nike container class. Okay, in this div maximum width will be large, on last screen maximum width none, width full, on medium screen text center. Okay, hit save. Great. To this h1 add class name, text for Excels. On small screen we have text 3 Excels, font bold, text gradient. This is custom class. If I go to index.css, and here we have class which is text gradient right there. Okay, in this text gradient class we have some classes which is from Tailwind Css, text transparent, text color transparent, background clip origin, and background gradient from top to right, from blue to sky. Okay, hit save. Here we have nice gradient text. Okay, in this h1 add class name, text 5 Excel, on last screen text 4 Excels, on medium screen text 3 Excels, on small screen text 2 Excels, font bold, text slate 900, filter drop shadow large. Hit save, and boom, there we have nice h1. Okay, great. So to this p tag add class name, text will be small but on extra large screen. Okay, and margin y 4, text slate 900, hit save. Great. So to this anchor tag add a class which is flex, item center, target underscore blank. Okay, role button, and in this button add a class button theme, background slate 900, shadow slate 900, text slate 100, py 1.5. Here we have this nice button. If I click, I can move to new website which is URL of actual product. Okay, great. So let's move back. I think we are missing something. Okay, and if I go to container. Here we have already flexbox, but okay, here we should have a flexbox or grid. Let's move through with grid. Item center on medium screen, justify item should be center, but this is on large screen, justify center, so let's do it on large screen. And now it's in center. If I go to large screen, it's center. On medium screen, also center. Okay, great. Now let's style this image. Okay, so here flex, item center, justify content center, and maximum width excels, position relative. On large screen, maximum width none, width full. So here this class will also be dynamic. Okay, width auto, object fit fill, add a transitions theme. Okay, you would have a question, what's the purpose of dynamic styles there? If I go in actual build, and here this featured item text there, image there, but if I go to highlights, text on right side, image on left side, therefore we are passing dynamic styles, and also we are tackling some width and height of different images. Okay, great. Let's move back and do it. Go to app.jsx, and we are passing condition in this highlights component. Okay, so destructure this if exist, just right there, if exists, and in this first div add a condition. Okay, if highlight component exists, then flex row will be reverse, otherwise flex row. Hit save. Now if I move to on normal screen, this image should be on left side, and there we go. Okay, that's it. If I go there, it's on right, and this is on left side. How it's cool that, I know. Okay, let's move to this image class name, add this condition. So this will be highlight, and this is just for sneakers. In highlight, height 60, on large screen height 56. Okay, on medium screen height 52, and on small screen height 44, on extra small screen height 36. Okay, I want to add transform rotate 6 degree to that image, and when someone hover, this image will rotate 12 degree and in opposite direction, so add a minus. Okay, but to this sneakers image add a height which is 72, on large screen height 64, on medium screen height 60, on small screen height 48, on extra small screen height 40. Transform rotate will be 19 degree, it's a dynamic value. Okay, on hover I want to rotate 12 degree in same direction, and here we go. When I hover, it's rotate minus 12 degree, and if we go there, just it's rotating 12 degree. How it's cool that we are working on dynamic files, guys. It's power of React. Today we understand how Reacts work in actual. Okay, now let's move back and do this stories component. This is a single component, so let's do it right now. Move back to code, add a file in components which is stories.jsx or AFCE. Okay, and go to index.js. Here pass this component as parameter, or can say as props, as you want, it's up to you. Stories I exported there, and go to app.jsx, render this component just below this naked component, stories. Okay, great. And let's move to data.js, and just after this top rated sales, below that we have this stories component, two objects, title and news. Now let's move to app.jsx. Here story into story. Okay, from data.js. Great. And destructure these objects right here, story, in which we have title and news. Great. So there we have a div. I think we no need to understand structure of this component because it's very simple, but let's see what we have. This is an wrapper div in which we have image, and there we have some icons. This is title, this is text, this is button. Okay, and all these things is a body div. Okay, so container, which is a class name, Nike container, margin bottom 11. Okay, here we have title. Let's import from utils, pass this parameter title, hit save. If I go there, I can see title stop stories. Okay, just a second, we have our title. That's purpose of this component. Now there we have a div, and here we are mapping our data in a slider. Okay, if go to Google and search supplied JS, supplied slider. Okay, you can use different slider as well, but I highly recommend to use that one because it's very easy to use and very simple. Okay, get started and go to integration, React. Here we have package, copy this, go back to VSCode and Control C, terminate your batch, Control V. Okay, enter. Okay, till this package is installing, let's explore some documentation. Here we have some guides how we can integrate this slider into our React.js. First, copy this and go back to VS Code. Here, paste. Now go to this CSS. You can copy anything as you want. Okay, I want to go through with this React supplied CSS, or we can choose different themes. Okay, package has installed, cls npm run dev, close this terminal. Now here we have split. In this split, let's map this news arrays object dot map val index, okay, and loop through supplied slides there, add key which is index, and also add class name, margin bottom 0.5. okay, let's make it bigger. Here add a wrapper div. Okay, let me show you this annotation, wrapper div, and in this wrapper div we have this image. Add a div with an image tag, source val.image, add alt which is in backticks we have image slash story and dollar sign which is index, add class name. Okay, that's it. Just after that we have timeline with different icons like heart, clock and hashtag. So just below that add a div, and in there we have heart icon, a span tag in which we have val.like. okay, and to this heart icon add a class name, icon style. okay, Control C. Let's change icon here which is clock icon, and the variant of this clock icon is outlined. And now Control C. In clock we have val.time. Here change the value val.by. So it's a story. By means who person write this story. Here we have hashtag icon. Okay, great. If I go back to browser, let me refresh. Okay, we have data. Great with these slides. Don't worry, we will style right now. Okay, just after that we have a div in which h1 which is val.title. Just below that we have p tag which is val.text, and just below that we have a div. Here we have an anchor tag in which val.button, and add an href val.url and save. Go back. Great. I hit read more. I can see exact story of this Nike store shoe. Okay, great. So let's move back to our project. Now design this, make it closer, also this one. Now let's style this component. Control D, add class name. Okay, in this wrapper div, let me just increase. Okay, wrapper div, add position relative, grid, item center, gap 4, padding bottom 2, rounded, large, shadow, and shadow slate 200. Add a ring which is offset shadow, ring slate 200. Hit save, and there we go. We have nice look of these ones. Okay, now to this image, flex, item center, justify content center. To this image tag, in this class, width full, height auto, object cover, and add shadow medium, shadow slate 200, rounded top left large, rounded top right large. Hit save. Wow, we have nice these ones. Now let's style this timeline, and it's hard to see what we are doing right now. Let me format document. This is formattation by an extension which is prettier. You have to install this one. I remember that I should be tell you, please install this extension to format your code nicely. Okay, and go to timeline div. Now we can see live changes, sync that. Okay, great. Here flex item center, justify between, width full, padding x4, hit save, boom, great. And in this divs, in this three divs, control D, flex item center gap 0.5. okay, and in this icon style divs, first in heart icon, text red 500, width 5, height 5, hit save, and boom, we have nice color. Oh my god, beautiful heart. To this one tag, text exists, which is extra small, and font bold. To this clock icon here, width 4, height 4, text black, and in there add class name text axis, which is extra small, font bold, hit save, and boom, we have nice this one. Okay, now go there and in hashtag text blue 500, let me change 600. Yeah, it's look nice. Go there in this font tag, text exists, font bold, also text blue 600. Great. Now let's style this title and text. Here grid, item center, justify item start, padding x4. To this h1 add class name text base, font semi bold, on last screen text small. To this p tag, text small on normal screen, text justify, on last screen text exists, which is extra small. Great. Now to this button, flex item center, justify content center, padding x4, width full. To this anchor tag, add class name width full, background slate 900, and I think we should be add a gradient background, which is gradient to bottom from slate 900 to gray 900 or to black. Yeah, to black is good. To black. Shadow will be medium. Shadow also black. Text center, hit save. Text will be slate 100. Okay. Oh, here we have nice button. And ignore this one. This is a pagination of this slider. Don't worry, we will remove now. Okay, and add py 1.5. Now let's add button theme, which is very important. Button theme, hit save. Now button is ready. I hit click, I can move to this story, but it should be in blank. Add target, which is underscore blank. Add role to this anchor tag, button, hit save. Now I hit click, it's moving to new tab. Okay, great. And this components also fully responsive. And but what is that, guys? We need slides like that on different screens. different slides. Okay, so let me add options to this sublet. I will provide you this snippet of code description below, or you can download from it my GitHub link. Okay, so what's option we have there? Per page want 4 slides, per move 1 slide, type loop, rewind true, keyboard global. If I go to actual demo, look here we can use globally keyboard, and pagination false, padding to rem. These are breakpoints. Now go to split wrapper. In options, pass these split options in this class. Margin top 7, hit refresh, go back, and there we go. Here we have our slider, but what do we have a problem? Okay, text are overflowing. Now let's move to Google and search NodeJS. NodeJS is a library of JavaScript by which you can use different methods: partition, default, truncate, and some others as you want. Okay, so if you go to documentation, we have lot of methods. Okay, but search from there truncate to a string. Okay, we are using this method to truncate. So go back, copy script, which is npm save NodeJS as dev dependency. So go there, Control C, terminate your batch, Control V, install this NodeJS package. Package has installed cls npm run dev. Now let's import this truncate from NodeJS and go to here. We have this text. Okay, wrap out this text into truncate library. So val.text. Here let's pass a length which is approximately 75 of all text. I go back here, hit refresh. Okay, let's move to last screen. We have nice look. Okay, great. We can see 3 dot right there, means we can read more into a new page. Okay, great. Now top stories has completed. Let's move to other component, footer. Close all that files. Okay, go to components, add one more file, footer.jsx RAFCE. In index.js, add this file footer. Okay, footer.jsx. Now let's move to app.jsx, and here we have footer just below this main tag, footer from components. Okay, and if I go to data.js, just right bottom we have footer API, in which we have different objects, title, links, and some array of objects, different links. Okay, now let's import this footer API into app.jsx. Footer API from data.js, save, go to footer, destructure this footer API, in which we have title and links. Okay, in this footer we have very basic structure. If I go there and let's see, look, this is our container in which we have these columns. So it's a great. Okay, now we are mapping 3 different array of objects. If I go to data.js, titles is an array of objects. This links is also an array of object, but in this link we have another arrays of objects, which is our actual links. Okay, so it could be tricky. Let's see what we have there. A div and a div. Okay, here titles, just below that we have links. Titles dot map val index, and this will return a div with h1, which is val dot title. Okay, and key index. Add class name right now. So in this links dot map val and index. Okay, add another list, key will be index. In this another list we have a list, so we can say that this val is a list, or can say that nav links, as you want. Okay, or footer links. So very short name is list. Here we are mapping this list because in data.js we have different arrays of objects in this array. Okay, this array have 3 different arrays. So go back, and here list dot map. Now we have our actual li. Okay, so val and index, or if I can say link or index. Li key will index. Here we have link dot link. Okay, I hit save, go back, and boom, we have our links and title. Now let's style this footer. In footer class we have first background theme, and if you remember that in index.css we have this class which is nice background gradient. Okay, you can use different others, but this is very better. Hit save. Here we have nice footer. Okay, padding top 7, padding bottom 5. Great. So here add class name Nike container, text slate 200. I am adding a globally text color. Okay, hit save, and boom, we can see our text. So in this div grid item start, grid calls tree, maximum width 2 pixels. Okay, width full, margin auto. On medium screen maximum width none. On medium screen gap 5. Hit save. Oh, we have nice grid here. In titles div grid item center, and to this h1 add class name text large on normal screen, on large screen text base, medium screen text fill small and uppercase, font semi bold. Save. We have this nice title, and to this another list add class name grid item center gap 1, and to this li add class name text small. On small screen text extra smalls. Save. Boom, great. And now just after this grid div I am just copied a copyright. Okay, you can write as your own copyright, but it's my copyright, jsstack developers. And there we go, we have almost completed our Nike Store web application, and you saw how we work dynamically in React.js on this web application. Okay, now let's do this navbar right now. Okay, go back to code. In components, add a file which is navbar.jsx or AFCE. Okay, go to index.jss and call this component right here. Export default as navbar from /navbar.jsx. If I go to app.jsx, just add top on main navbar. Hit save, and on top left I can see navbar. Okay, close all that file which we no need and just open navbar.jsx. In navbar, add header. Okay, let's first understand structure of this component. Go at top. Here we have this nice header in which this is nav, logo, and these some links. Okay, so nav, add a div, image which is source logo, add alternative logo / image, add class name. Just below that, another list in which we have li. Okay, first li is a magnifying glass icon which is search icon, and let's import right now. Import from at hero icon / react24 and variant outline. It's a magnifying glass icon. Let's add here, add class name, icon style. Okay, if you remember that in index.css we have this class right now. Okay, right there. So let's move back, add another li. Here we have another icon which is heart icon, add class name, icon style. Just below that we have another li. It's a button. In actual it's an cart button. Okay, great. So add a button, type button, class name. In this button we have an icon which is shopping bag icon, class name. Okay, just below that we have a div, add this 0 right now, and icon style. Okay, so that's structure of this navbar component. Go there, and here maybe we have a error in console. Okay, we are missing this logo, so let's import logo from /assist/logo.png. hit save and refresh once. Boom, we have our logo and icons just right here. Now let's style this navbar. In this header, add class name. It will be dynamic in backticks, position absolute, top 7, left 0, right 0. Hit save. Okay, add opacity 100, z index 50. Great. And first let's change width of this logo, add height auto, and to this nav add class name flex, item center, justify content between, and add Nike container. Now let's move to this another list, add class name flex, item center, justify center, gap 2. Okay, And to this div, add class name flex item center. Now let's move to this li, control D, select all, add class name grid item center to this button, border none, outline none. On active state, transform scale 110, transition all, duration 300, position relative. Okay, and now let's style this quantity badge. In there, add a class. It will be dynamic in backticks, position absolute of this badge, top 4, right 0. Okay, add background white and text slate 900. Add a shadow slate which is 100. Nice. Width 4, height 4, text, add values dynamic 0.65 rem. Okay, and line height in Tailwind Css we have leading, which is tight. Okay, font medium, rounded full. Okay, add a flexbox, flex, item center, justify center, cursor pointer, and on hover state, transform scale 110, transition all, duration 300. Hit save. Now here we have nice badge. Oh, let's go. Okay, it's also a button with a badge, just like that. Okay, cool. Now I want when someone scrolls, this will be turned into black and a nice gradient navbar at top. Okay, so let's move at top. Here let's define a useState hook from React const navState set navState useState, and it's import from React. Okay, initial state will false. The question is that what is useState hook? Basically, hooks are special functions in React.js which let you add state variable into your component. In actual, it updates your previous state into new state in future when you need. Now let's define a use effect and import from React. Use effect is also a special hook. It's a function which let you perform side effect in your component. Now let's define a custom special function. Here we are applying some conditions. If window dot scroll y greater than 30, I want to update this state to true, else set navState to false. Okay, so what we are doing here, when someone scroll from top to bottom, okay, this states it's true and it's showing this navbar, but when some goes to top, it's again false. That's simple. Okay, great. And in this use effect, let's add an event listener. Window dot add event listener on scroll. Add this special function. Okay, so here we are adding this on event listener, but we have to remove this. It will return when someone goes back to top. it will return this Windows dot remove event listener scroll, this special function. Now go to header, copy this style, remove this backticks. Okay, here we are defining a condition. If there's no nav state, we want default style, else let's add a new style, position fixed, top 0, left 0, right 0, height 9 VH, flex, item center, justify content center, and opacity 100, z index 50. Let's add custom class, blur, effect theme, save, move there, refresh, and okay, there we have problem in code. Let's double check. Window dot add event listener scroll on scroll. Okay, it's done. We are removing event listener. If window dot screen, oh, it's not screen. Here we have window dot scroll wide, scroll wide. It's save, and let's refresh once, move back, and boom, there we have our nice blurry background of this snap bar. Guys, how it's cool that. Okay, something is happening. Let's add z index 100, hit save, refresh. Actually these items are pushing at top of the snap bar. Now everything is done. Okay, great. So let's move back to, okay, let's change the color of this image, which is our logo. Add a condition here. First make it dynamic. Okay, and remove these single quotes. Add a $sign. If nav state exists and only we want to filter brightness 0, hit save, and boom, logo is black. How it's cool that, guys, how it's cool that. Now let's move down here. Let's change color, similar. Okay, Control D, select all, remove these backticks. Sorry, remove single quotes, add backticks. Okay, $sign, nav state exists. What we want only once to change color of this icon, text slate 900, transition all, it's transition all, duration 300, hit save, and boom, color has changed. Now let's move to this button, and first to this icon. I think we should copy this class and paste here, hit save. Okay, it's changed. Now let's add some dynamic style here, and here add a condition, nav state if we want this style, else this style. Okay, if nav state, then we want background black or slate 900, which is nicer color, text slate 100, and also shadow slate 900. But default we want background slate 100, text slate 900, shadow slate 100, and it should be slate, not sky. Remove this background white, text slate 9, also this default text slate, shadow. Save, go back, and boom, we have nice, guys. How it's cool that our nav bar has done. But what is that? Why it is overflowing? Okay, let's change opacity of that one. Go to, I think we should be add opacity instead of 100 to 100. Now it's done. Navbar is working great. Okay, now let's add this cart functionality. When we click, we can see our cart back to Nextdoor. Okay, now let's move back to code. Here, add a file cart.jsx or AFCE and go to app.jsx, but go to index.js, export default, this cart.jsx. In app.jsx, render this component just after this navbar. Save and go back. Here we have our cart component. Okay, so close all dot file which we no need. Add a wrapper div and a cart div. In this cart div, we have 3 more components. Let me show you structure of that component. Okay, and go back here. This is our actual wrapper. Okay, this is nice blurry gradient, but in top of this wrapper we have this nice cart. Okay, in which we have this cart count component, cart empty component. If I move back and let's add some products, look, here we have cart item component. Okay, so 1 2 3 components. Okay, and let's move back to code and add this component. Go to components folder, add a folder cart. In this cart folder, add a file cart count.jsx or AFCE. Okay, add a one more file which is cart empty.jsx or AFCE. Now let's add a one more file which is cart item.jsx or AFCE. Okay, and let's call all 3 components right here, cart count, cart empty. This cart empty and cart items are conditional components. It will render first when condition will apply. Save and move back. Here we have all cart components. Now let's style this cart component. Add class name. This will be dynamic in backticks, position fixed, top 0, left 0, right 0, bottom 0. Add a class blur effect theme, width full, height screen, Control S, and boom, there we have nice gradient background. But what we have, okay, let's add opacity 100, z index 200, hit save. Now there we have nice look. Okay, and I think opacity let's increase to 50 because navbar already have opacity 200. Okay, refresh. What it conflicts? No, almost done. Great. And let's move to this div. Add class name. It will also dynamic. Add blur effect theme, height screen, maximum width axles, width full, okay, and position absolute, right 0, hit save, and there we go, we have this nice look. Okay, let's go guys. Great. Now let's move to this cart count.jsx. The structure of this component is very simple. I just paste, look, go back and see what we have. Here we have nice wrapper div, okay, in which we have two divs like that and that, okay. In this first div we have two div, which is our this button, and other one is cart count, okay. Great. Let's import first these icons. In first div we have this chevron left double icon, add class name. In second div, add h1 your cart, and in span tag in brackets write items. Here we are fetching dynamic values as shown, okay. In this div, add button, type button, add class name. In this button we have icon x mark, add class name, save, okay. Go there. Oh, it's looking too much weird. Now let's style this component, but first add width height to these two icons, and okay, great, we can see our icons right now. Here in this wrapper div, background white, height 11, flex, item center, justify between, padding x3, position sticky, top 0, left 0, right 0, width full, okay, and control D, select all these, add class names. Now in this first div, flex, item center, gap 3, okay, gap will be 3, great. And in this both divs, grid, item center, but this first div, cursor pointer, it act like as a button, so cursor pointer. In that icon, text slate 900, on hover state, text slate text orange 500. Let's add a stroke variant 2, okay. To this h1, add class text base, font medium, text slate 900, hit save, okay. To this span tag, first add a class which is background theme cart. If I go to index.css, here we have this class background theme cart, it's nicer color, okay, and shadow. Go back, save, looking great. Add a rounded border radius, padding x1, py 0.5, okay, and text slate 100. Oh, looking great. And I think instead of medium, let's make to font normal. Yeah, now it's done. And go to this div, flex, item center, look, and in this button, rounded first, add background theme which is cart, and on active state, transform scale 90, padding 0.5. To this icon, text white, stroke will be great. Now button looking too much great, also this one, okay. And this component has done. Let's move here and do it right now, this empty bag component. But what here we have, maybe text small, here very large, go there, text axis. Okay, now it's done. Now let's move to cart empty.jsx. Guys, this component is quite simple. It's just 2 lines of code, div, image and button. Okay, so I just copied and replaced. Look, we have this nice empty bag, this icon and a text back to Nike store. Okay, let's style this component. First add style to this image, width 40 on normal screen, on large screen width 36, on small screen width 28, height auto, object fit fill, transition all, duration 300, on hover state transform scale 110. Hit save. Look, we have this nice transition. Great. Now in this div, add class name flex, item center justify center, flex column, and here we have height screen. Let me add padding 11, text center, gap 7. Okay, and to this button, but first in this arrow left icon width 5, hit 5 and text slate 900. Okay, to this button add a button theme. Okay, background gradient to bottom from amber 500 to orange 500. Add a shadow large and shadow orange also 500. Great. Let's add a flex box, item center, justify content center, text slate 900. Okay, py to gap 3, text small, px 5 and font semi bold. Hit save. On active state scale 110. We have this nice button. Okay, like that. Here I am just missing Nike store, but there we have back to Nike store. Okay, cart empty component have completed nicely. Now it's a time to make this web application fully functional. I am going to teach you how you can hack this store complex logics using Redux Toolkit. So far, go back to Google and search Redux Toolkit. It's a utility set of tools to simplify Redux complex logics. Here you can see it's powerful, effective on our code. Okay, so get started with Redux Toolkit. Here we have script to install in our project. Copy, go back to VSCode, open your terminal and let's install this. Okay, Control V, hit paste. To bind Redux Toolkit with React, we are using React Redux. It's an official library which is powered by Redux team. Okay, it's predictable, encapsulated and optimized. Now let's get started, and here we have script to install this one. Okay, copy and paste, hit install. Okay, until it's installing, let's move back to code and set up a folder structure. Add a folder app. Here we are storing our Redux files. Add a file store.js. Okay, this store will manage states of our web application globally. Okay, add a one more file for reducers. We can see that slice and or cart slice.js. Okay, simple. Now npm run dev and close your terminal. Here we are writing some complex code in a simple way. Let's import create slice from Redux Toolkit and define a custom function cart slice with a special name. This create slice function accepts some options. First, it accepts an initial state. Okay, let's define this initial state and declare right here at top. Okay, now again let's hover and look, this initial state having object of reducer functions. Let's define object of reducer function. First, cart state initially false. Okay, so again hover it and we have to specify a slice name. Let's define slice name, which is cart. It automatically generates an action creators and action types that corresponds to reducers and state. Now let's create this reducer. Okay, other option for reducers. Now let's define some action creators and create an action. Okay, first we have set open cart, set close cart. These are immutable functions which accept two parameters, action and state. Now let's export these action creators as specific cart slice actions. Export const set open cart, set close cart, cart slice dot actions. Okay, these are our specific actions for that cart slice, and we are exporting default this cart slice as reducer. And that was the basic fundamentals of cart slice. Now let's move to store.js. Configure this cart slice as global state in store. So let's first import configure store from Redux Toolkit and define this configure store as custom store. Okay, this configure store accepts an parameter which is reducer. In this reducer we are passing this cart slice. Okay, so name is cart. We already exported default as reducer cart, and here we have cart slice from /cart slice js. Okay, and export default store from store.js. Okay, so let's move to main.jsx and connect this store with React application as global state. Now let's first import provider from React Redux and wrap out app component inside this provider. Now we can connect by this provider our store. So import store from /app/store.js. Store have connected to Nextdoor Commerce Web Application. Press F12 and go to Redux Dev Tools. Here we have our global state which is cart. Okay, and if you don't have this Redux Dev Tool, go to Google and search Redux Dev Tools. You will find this link, or you can simply download from this GitHub link. Okay, if you go to chrome.google web store, search Redux Dev Tools, you will find this website. Just add to Chrome as extension, and after installing, inspect, go there. Here you will find this Redux Dev Tools. Okay, cool. Now back to VSCode. Let's implement some logics for these action creators. Here state dot and okay, here we did a mistake. Instead of this action state, we should have state and action, because this immutable function takes two parameters, state an action. Let's replace also here. Now we can state dot cart state. This cart state is an initial state, okay, and action dot payload dot cart state. Here we are updating this initial state as immutable state. If we go to official documentation reduxtoolkit.org tutorials quick start, here we have Redux Toolkit allows you to write mutate logic in reducers. Go there. Here what we did, we are just updating our initial state as action.payload. That's its mutate ability, okay? It does not actually mutate state because it uses immer library. If you go to documentation, you can more learn about this immutability, which is immer library. It's a built-in in Redux Toolkit, okay? This immer library detect changes as draft state, produce a new brand state as immutable on the base of changes. Okay, let's do an experiment. Here, go to Redux Dev Tools. Look, I open cart, action creator, perform an action on state, and cart state is true. I close cart, another action creator, perform action, cart state is false. So that is immutability. We are uses a global state to perform these actions. Okay, I think you understand very clearly what is Redux Toolkit mutatability. Okay, and actually I want to teach you store complex logics in a simple way. I know this video has quite long, but be patient, we are completing as soon as. Just copy this and paste here because set close cast also immutable function. Now let's move to navbar.jsx and import use dispatch hook from React Redux and define a dispatcher function from Redux Toolkit. This hook will help to dispatch an action from Redux Store or Redux Toolkit. Okay, so here at top also one more function which is on cart toggle. It's a special custom function on cart toggle. Let's move back to our cart button, which is shopping bag icon. Here it's a button. Add an event on click and call this function. On cart toggle, let dispatch an action which is set open cart. Okay, it's an action creator function. It should be imported from $appcart/js. It accepts an argument, will return action payload. Okay, go to cart slice, it's a state. So let's pass this argument here. Initial state false. Let's make it to true. And okay, let's make a copy of that code. Go to cart.jsx. Just write here. First import use dispatch from React Redux and dispatch an action set close cart. And in navbar we are opening our cart. So far cart state true. In cart.jsx we are closing our cart. So far cart state should be false. On cart toggle, let's pass this function to cart count. You can simply put this code into cart count component, but cart.jsx is parent component. So far I am using code here. Now move to cart count, and in this button on click event, on click, it should be on click event on cart toggle, but first the structure is function right here. And okay, let's move there. Write a condition here. if cart state true, opacity 100, visibility visible, transform translate x 0, else opacity 0 and visibility hidden. In Tailwind CSS we have class invisible, transform translate x 8, which is approximately 2 rem. Hit save, move back to browser. Oh, we have an error. I think we should refresh. Okay, we have error. Error is still there if cart state is not defined at cart. Let's move back. And oh yeah, we are missing something which is very important. Okay, we are updating state by action.payload, but we are not selecting this state. So here we have to define this selector, export const select cart state. It's a callback function, parameter state. So state dot cart, which is our cart slice name, because we are selecting this state from this slice, dot which state, cart state. Okay, now back to cart, and let's first import use selector. This hook will help to select this cart state if cart state exists, and use selector will select cart state from Redux Toolkit or store. It should be .js. Okay, now go back, first refresh, press F12. Let's see what we have added. Console is cleared. Go to Redux, click there. Here we have action created, set open cart true. I hit close, set close cart false. Now let's implement add to cart functionality right now. Back to code, go to cart slice, add new action creator, set add item to cart. Similarly, it's a mutable function that will accept two parameters, state and action. And also at top define initial state cart items with an empty array. Okay, let's suppose this cart items array is an database. Okay, because it's a global state. So here what we can do, state dot cart items dot push, we can push our action dot payload into this array. Okay, basically action dot payload is our actual items. If I make annotation, let's move to whiteboard. Here let's suppose it's a database, it's add to cart button. Okay, I'll write there add to cart. So here it's our array. When someone will click this button, we are pushing our item to that array. Maybe you understand clearly. So let's move back, clear this, save, and move to items.jsx. Here we are defining a special function, const on add to cart, and yeah, const item, we are pushing our item. So const item, and let the structure these objects, which first we have an id, title, or it should be title, text, image, color, shadow, of course rating, price, but this not button. And I think we are not using rating in our cart slice, so let's go through with that. Okay, now here we are dispatching an action which is set add to cart. Let's export this action as specific function. Okay, save, go back. Here const dispatch, import this use dispatch from Redux. I already told you it should be at higher order. Okay, great. Here we are dispatching our action set add item to cart and send this item to this, okay, as variable. Now copy this function. I think we should be formatted. Yeah, done. And go to this button which is shopping bag icon. It's add to cart button. Here on click event we are invoking this action. Sorry, we are invoking this function. Okay, save it, go back to browser. Let's go to console, refresh it. Let's see what we have an error. Okay, console cleared. Move to Redux and let's see what we have when someone click to this button and boom, oh my god, we have our first item in the cart. How it's cool that. Let's add one more item. Okay, so what it is making a copy of same item which I don't want. Okay, I want when someone's click add to cart, it will just increase quantity like that. Look, it will just increase quantity to 3. Okay, but new product will show here. So how we can do that? Let's implement this. Go back to VSCode, go to cart slice, and here first const make a variable temp and let's destructure this action dot payload dot action dot payload. We are making copy first of our product, then define a variable cart quantity and quantity is 1. Now let's pass this item to that one, but we have to filter some data on the base of ID, but yet it is not solving our problem. We have to find a new method which will filter index which we have items in that array. Okay, so okay, I think we should be find index of specific item const item index. Okay, and state dot cart items. In this cart items we have already item. Okay, then find index. This find index function will get specific item ID. Okay, and return existing item ID. Okay, that's it. But we have to check one more thing. If user again click add to cart button, again we have action payload data. So what this existing item ID is mapping to action.payload.id. If this action.payload.id, which is new item, and this item ID, which is existing item, are mapping, then we can simply filter data on the base of both IDs and we can increase quantity to +1. Now let's do it right now. First check item index. If item index greater than equal to 0, state dot cart items, it's array. Okay, and we are pushing this item index to that array. If IDs are mapping, then add a new variable cart quantity and increase quantity to +1. Else simply add to cart this item. Okay, and now let's delete it, let's format it, and if I move back to browser, okay, it is refreshed. Now let's add to cart one more product. Here we have two products. If I add to cart there, oh look, to this we are increasing just quantities. If I again click, also quantities are increasing. I think that makes sense. Okay, you have understand very clearly. Okay, now let's make a push notification. Let's install package. First go back to Google and search react-hard-toast.com. This web application is very nice. I like that. Look, it's have nice toast. Okay, and npm install react hard toast. Go back to VSCode and go to terminal. Install it right now. npm install react hard toast. Okay, package has installed cls npm run dev. Okay, close this terminal. Now let's move back to main.jsx and first import toaster from react hard toast, and let's define this here. Okay, so position top center reverse order false. First import this toaster from react hard toast and then wrap out inside provider. It accepts some parameter. First position top center reverse order false. Okay, now move back to cart slice. Let's import toast from react hard toast and go there. Add a toast dot success in backticks. Here we are writing some stuff. Action dot payload dot title. Every payload have title, means every action, every item have title. Okay, added to cart, and if I go there, we can simply say a toast dot success items qty increased, item quantity increased. Now let's move back to browser and add to cart, and boom, we have nice push notification, item added to cart with title. Let's test out. Nike Air Premium added to cart. If I increase quantity, item quantity increased. That's it. Okay, now let's first implement local storage to save this cart item into cart. Okay, because when I refresh, all cart items is removing. So let's move back to code. In cart slice, just below this if condition, in this action creator, local storage dot set item. This setter function is take two parameter, key and value. Cart is our key and value is state dot cart items, but let's first convert into JSON objects. JSON dot stringify and state dot cart items. Okay, now to get back all items from this local storage, let's make it conditional. Invoke local storage dot get item from cart. If any item exists in cart, then JSON dot parse, okay, convert into text or simple JavaScript values. Local storage dot get item, okay, from cart, else leave it empty array. Save it, go back to browser, hit refresh, and let's add to cart, and hit refresh, and boom, all items still in cart. Our local storage is working. Go to application, in local storage, here we have our cart in which we have 2 items. If I increase quantity, here cart quantity 2, similarly increase quantity, cart quantity 2. So our local storage is working correctly. Now let's display all items in cart. Okay, back to code, and first export a selector which will select all items from cart or Redux Toolkit. Okay, now export const select cart items. Here we have state, and state dot cart items. Now go to cart, const cart items, and view selector will select these cart items from store or Redux Toolkit. If we display, okay, let's first console it. Go back to browser. In console we have array of object which is 2. Okay, now let's map it here, but here I want to check something, like if we have no items in cart, then only render cart empty component, else render this cart items. So implement this logic, cart items dot length. If 0, then render cart empty component, else render cart item component. Okay, now remove this. Okay, save, go back to browser. If I go to cart, here I have some items in cart, so I can see cart item component. Now let's map this component and render into cart item. Go back to code. Here add a div. In this div add one more div. Okay, and map cart items, add an exception mark, dot map val, and index, instead of val just write item, and let's send this component here. Key is index, item as item. Okay, and don't forget to add this exception mark here. Now save it, move to cart item.jsx and structure all cart item here. Item, here we have ID, title, text, image, color, shadow, price. Destructure one more, which is cart quantity. Move back to browser. In here we have cart quantity, one more object, so we can destructure it right here at top. Now put this code and browser side by side to see live changes. Here add a wrapper div, but as usual let's understand structure of that component. Go there, and this is our wrapper div, which is actual flexbox, in which we have 2 divs like that. In first div we have this image, and this is a one more div which is title and 3 buttons. Okay, so in that div add two more divs. In first div, add also two more divs. In first div, add an image with source image alternative. In backticks, image slash cart dash item slash specific ID of every single item. Okay, and in this div, add two more divs. In first div, add title, add p tag, which is text. Just below that, we have three buttons. Here, add a button with type button and class name. Okay, first button is minus, so let's import this icon. You can write dash also, but I am using an icon. In that button, add this icon, which is minus icon. Add class name, width 5, height 5. Okay, great. And just copy this button, add one more icon, which is plus icon. And I think it's not button, it's quantity. Okay, add a div just between them, and let's display cart quantity. Okay, and now in this button we have our total price and our trash icon. So add two more divs. In first div, h1, which is total price, so price multiplied by cart quantity. Okay, and here we have button with type button, add class name. In that button, add an icon, which is trash icon. Add class name, width 5, height 5. Okay, now let's save it, move back here. Oh wow, we can see our items, also total price, and okay, we cannot scroll it, don't worry. So let's first format it. Great, now let's design this component. Okay, now Control D, select all this, add class name, and I think we should first style that image. Let's control this width and height, width 36, height auto, object fit fill, on last screen width 28. Okay, now we can see nicely done everything. In first div, add flexbox, flex, item center, justify between, width full, padding x 5. Now in that div, add also one more flexbox, gap 5. Great. In this div, this will be dynamic. We are fetching real-time values. So background gradient to bottom, add color and shadow. Okay, and there we go, we are fetching real-time exact color and shadow of exact item. If I added one more item to cart, here we have same product. Okay, cool. And also add position relative, rounded, padding 3, on hover, transform scale 105, transition all, duration 700, ease in out, and grid item center. Hit save. Now great. Now style this title and price. Here first add a grid, item center, gap 4, and in that div also add one more grid, item center, leading none, and to this h1 add class name, font medium, text large, text slate 900, on last screen text small, or it should be slate. Now to this p tag, text small, text slate 800, on last screen text extra small. Okay, and here in that buttons add flexbox, flex, item center, justify around, width full, width. Now to that button add custom class, background theme card, add border radius, rounded. Looking great. If you remember that in index.css we have this custom class. Okay, great. Now here on last screen width 4, on last screen height 4, text should be white, and add a stroke dynamically which is 2. Hit save. Okay, looking great. And I think we should be add width and height, because here we have nicer big button. So here add width 6, height 6, on last screen width 5, on last screen height 5. Let add flexbox, item center, justify center, and on active state transform scale 90. Hit save. Now great button. Okay, so copy this style, paste here, also copy this and paste here. Okay, to this quantity similarly add these styles, just right here, text white, font medium, on last screen text extra small. Hit save and add some width 7, height 6, on last screen height 5, on last screen width 6. Add flexbox, flex, item center, justify center. Okay, now let's style this price div, and here grid, item center, gap 5, and to both divs grid, item center, justify item center. Okay, now add a class name, text large, on last screen text base, text slate 900, font medium, and add this $sign. Great. Now to that button similarly copy this style from here, just this one, and come there, paste, text white. Okay, let's add some padding, which is padding 1, on last screen padding 0.5, grid, item center, justify item center. Great. So this component approximately done. Now let's move to card.jsx. In this second wrapper div add class name, flex, item start, justify start, and save. Let's add flex column. Yeah, done. Gap y7, on last screen gap y5. Okay, now add one more class, overflow y scroll, because when we will have more item, it should be scroll. Let's add more items. Add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. Okay, I think it's done. Now, great. Hit save. Now we can scroll right now these items, and I think we should be at a height. So at a height 81 we add. Now we can scroll it nicely. Okay, great. And also scroll smooth, and add a custom class scroll hidden. If you go to index.css, here top right we have class scroll hidden, display none. Okay, great. We can scroll also. Great. Now just after that we are implementing this subtotal and checkout button. Just below this div I am just copying structure of code. It's very simple. Therefore control D and add class name in all these. In first one, add a position fixed, bottom 0. Okay, background white, width full, padding x5, and py2. Add a grid, item center, grid, flex, item center, justify between. Okay, to this h1 add class name, text base, font semi medium, semi bold, and uppercase. Good. To this h1 add class name, text small, rounded, it's a badge, background theme cart, text slate 100, px1, py 0.5. Looking great. And to this div add a grid, item center, gap 2. To this p tag, text small, font medium, text center. And to this button add a button theme, add a background theme cart, text white. Now look, we have this nice here button, and this is subtotal checkout. And I think we should add a padding right here, because here we have nice padding at top. So go there, add py3. Now it's done. This card component have completed nicely. Okay, and we are just left some functional things. So let's move back to cart slice, add some action creator. Let's first work on this remove item from cart. Just below this action creator add one more action creator, set remove item from cart. Also it will take two parameters, state and action. Similarly, it's an immutable function which will update a state. To remove item from cart, we should know about that specific item ID, const remove item, and state.cartItems.filter. In array we are applying a filter method. By that we can get a specific item ID. So if item ID is not equal to action.payload.id, then state.cartItem will update to remove item. Okay, and also define a local storage that set item key, similarly cart json.stringify state.cart items. Okay, and define a toast that success with backticks action dot payload dot title removed from cart. Okay, so let's send this action creator into actions, and now let's move back to cart item component and define a custom special function const on remove item. Here we are dispatching an action. Okay, let's first define dispatcher const and dispatch, use dispatch import from React Redux hook, and dispatch set remove item from cart. This action creator, it should be important from cart slice.js. Okay, and send this object just right here, copy this function, go back to this button, add an event on click, call this function. Here cursor must be pointer, and go back to browser. Now inspect, go to local storage in application. Okay, here we have our cart. I think from local storage this item Nike Adopt 2.0 should be removed. Let's click and boom, it is removed. Okay, yo, let's go guys, it's fully working. Okay, now let's define more action creator to make this button fully functional. So let's move back to code. In cart slice, add 3 action creators: set increase item quantity, set decrease item quantity, set clear cart items. As you know that action creator takes 2 parameters, state and actions, and it's a mutable function. Okay, to increase and decrease item quantities, we should know about item index. Okay, and if you remember that top right here in this action creator, we have already found a method. By this method we are finding existing item ID and new item ID which we want to push in cart. If both IDs are mapping, then we are increasing quantities. Let's suppose I have this example. Look, I want to increase item quantities. We have already this product in cart. Okay, I want to push this item. This ID and this ID are same, they are mapping, so we can simply increase quantity to +1. Okay, so we can copy this code just right here in set increase item quantity action creator, paste it, and also copy this local storage code, and simply just after this if condition paste here. Okay, now save it, and to decrease item quantity just copy this code, paste here, instead of +1 just -1. Okay, and let's change this condition because we want to decrease cart quantity. If state dot cart item and item index dot cart quantity greater than 1, then we are decreasing quantity. Let's change this toast item quantity decreased. And to set clear cart all items action creator, we are just emptying array state dot cart items empty array. Let's make a toast dot success cart cleared. Okay, and set this local storage just right here, and now export all this action creator as cart action. Okay, go to cart item component. Now let's define two custom special functions on increase item quantity, on decrease item quantity. Let's dispatch these actions. Dispatch set decrease, okay, set increase item quantity, and pass these objects here. Okay, similarly in that function dispatch an action set decrease item quantity and pass these objects here. Now go to these buttons where we have our minus and plus button. Okay, on minus button, on click, let's call this function on decrease item quantity, and in this plus button add on click event and call this function on increase item quantity. Okay, and now let's move back to cart jsx here, which is on clear cart items. Let's dispatch an action set clear cart items, leave it empty, because in cart slice we already emptying array. Okay, so here we can leave this action empty. Copy this function and pass into cart count. Go to cart count and here add this button which is X mark icon. Let's call this function, but first we would have to destructure here. Okay, now move back to browser and let's test these action creators. First click here and boom, we can increase quantities. Oh, that's so good. Again click here, we can decrease these quantities. Even we can clear cart. If I go to local storage and boom, it is empty. How it's cool that. Now let's move back to next store. Okay, this button is not working. If I move to cart jsx in cart empty component, okay, we have to pass also this function on cart toggle. Okay, and simply go to cart empty component, destructure this function here, and on click add an event, this one. Now let's move back to browser and click here. We can move back to next store. Let's test it. Buy now. Okay, here we have also one more problem. I want, when I click buy now, this cart should be opened. So how we can do that? Let's move back to here. Go to item jsx component and copy this event in that button, call here. But I also want one more thing. When I click this button, cart should be opened. Go to navbar, copy this function and go there, and right here paste this function. Okay, and let dispatch this action from cart slice on cart toggle. Let's also add this event, but we are calling two functions in one event, so we can do like that and terminate that one, also terminate that one. Go back to browser. Now if I click there, it should be open, and let's click and boom, item is added to cart. Also cart is opening. Our milestone work have done. Approximately this web application have completed nicely. Now we would have to calculate subtotals of that cart. Back to code. In cart slice, add two initial states, cart total amount 0, cart total quantity initially 0, and just below this action creator add a new action creator, set get totals. Similarly, it will take two parameters, state and action. Also, it's a mutable function. To calculate subtotals of cart, we are using reduce array method. State.cartItem.reduce. This reduce array method takes two parameters, a callback function and initial value. Let's define callback function. It's simple arrow function. Okay, and initial value could be number, object and array. In that case, we are using object. So let's define two initial values, total amount initially 0, total quantity initially 0. And now we would have to declare these two initial values right here. Let total amount, total quantity is equal to state.cartItem.reduce. And this callback function can take two or more parameters. In that case, we have just two parameters, cart total and cart item, as we have this cart item right here. So we can simply structure price and cart quantity, const price cart quantity from that cart item. And if you remember that in Redux Toolkit we have this quantity and price. In actual, by using reduce array method, we are just mapping and filtering this price and cart quantity, and we are returning sum of both values as whole. Okay, and I am thinking you have understand very nicely. Now back to code. Here we have this price and cart quantity, and now we can simply calculate total price multiply cart quantity. We have found this total price. Now we can do cart total dot total amount plus equals to total price, and similarly cart total dot total quantity plus equals to cart quantity, return cart total as whole. And now we can simply update this state. So state dot cart total amount is equal to total amount. Similarly, state dot cart total quantity is equal to total quantity. And if you might be wondering what we did here, don't worry, let's take a review. This cart item is an array, so we can use reduce array method to get subtotals, because reduce array method can return two objects at once. First we declared these two initial values, total amount 0, total quantity 0. And in callback function we declare two variables, cart total and cart item. By this cart item we destructure price, cart quantity and calculate total price. And we can say that this cart total is a draft state. So far we simply put total price, cart quantity into this draft state, and we are returning as brand new state. Hence we update this draft state into global states, and now we can simply get sum of total amount, sum of cart total quantity. So that was the fundamental behind that. And finally we can export as cart action set get totals. And now we can export to selector, which will select cart total amount and cart total quantity. And now go to cart JSX and let's dispatch action top right here in our use effect. You also know that use effect which let you perform side effects in components. We want to get total amount on spot, so we can dispatch set get totals here, and let's put cart items and dispatcher function in this dependency array. Okay, this use effect will only active if values will change. Okay, now we can select here total amount, use selector from React Redux and select total amount. Similarly, we can get total quantity, use selector import from React Redux and select total quantity. And now put this total amount where we hard coded our subtotals okay, and don't forget to mention this $sign and also this total quantity. Go to cart count, pass into cart count this structure top right here, and instead of this hard coded, let's put dynamic value, okay, and go to navbar, simply copy this use selector which is cart total quantity in navbar, like declare here and select total quantity, okay, instead of this hard coded where we have these total quantities, just put this. Now go back to browser and there we go, we have subtotal, also total quantities, similarly in Redux Toolkit. And oh, here I think we are missing something. If I go back to actual demo, yeah, here we have this badge, okay, so go to cart item component here, and here we have this image. Add this div here. I am just copying, you can found in source code, or I believe now you can design your own, okay, it's a very simple badge. If I go back, here we can see our initial price badge, okay, and now if I increase quantities, look, price is calculating, okay, also in Redux Toolkit. And now next our commerce web application have completed, every cart action is working properly, and now we can deploy our project on Vercel. But before, let's change title and favicon of that web application. Go back to code. In index.html we have their title and this favicon. I am just writing this title, okay, and instead of image svg xml, write png, and here instead of this white.svg, here I have my own favicon with name nike.png, okay, you will found in snippets, don't worry, go back and refresh, and boom, here we have nice favicon and title. Now we can deploy on Vercel. I have closed all files and just opened git bash. Now git init, this git init command is initializing git repository in our project. And now git add dot, it will add all files to your GitHub repository. And now we can git commit, okay, -m. I am just writing v1.0 beta release. You can write your own because I want you will give me reviews, I will appreciate. Now hit enter, okay, committed. Now go to GitHub, sign into your account. If you don't have account, you can simply sign up, okay, and add new repository. Here write repository name Nike Store JSstack. You can write as your own. Description is optional, but I will add later. Create this repository. We have already performed this command. Simply git remote add origin and copy this link. Go back to code, clear screen, and Ctrl V, hit enter, okay. Now we have to find our branch. If I go back to GitHub, here my branch name is default, okay, so I can push now. In your case, if you don't know about your branch, git branch, okay, and that's my branch name is master. Now I can push git push add a stream -u origin master, hit enter, and it will take some time to push your data. And finally data has pushed and GitHub repository has ready. I just set up GitHub repository for you with simple guides, okay. Now we can launch our application. Go to Vercel. If you don't have account, sign up. I have account, I am login. and continue with GitHub. It is authenticating, and boom, that's my account. Okay, add new project and continue with GitHub. I have to configure. Now I can import Nextdoor jsstack. Import, and let's deploy with that project name. It will take some time. And boom, our application have deployed to the Vercel. There we go. We can see live on that link Nextdoor jsstack.vercel.app, and that's final build of this web application. How it's cool that we can add to cart. Okay, we can immediately buy, increase quantities, decrease quantities, move products. Okay, even in local storage we have all that items. Okay, and it's fully responsive for every device. Look how it's cool that. Now guys, I just want one thing: like, subscribe, share and comment below if you have any question. I will see you in next video. Bye bye.
Game over.